In a world where entertainment is viewed as mindless diversion, only good for momentary distraction, you are about to enter a new world, and you will never view entertainment in the same way again. This is Popcorn Theology.
Oh, welcome, movie lovers and theology nerds, to Popcorn Theology, where we examine films and TV shows and everything else from where they align with the greatest story and our greatest storyteller, discussing what to receive, reject, and redeem for common ground, fruitful conversation, and mindful movie consumption. I'm David.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Yeah,
so David jumped on at the last minute. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to come on to this special live stream. And so as soon as he popped on, I was like, yeah, David, he has to do the intro. Like he's OG founder, right? So he has to do it.
I still think of it as Richard's job, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, if he was on here, yeah, I mean, he got the invite, yeah. But him and his brood of children, yeah. But he'd appreciate that.
His quiver is overflowing. Yep.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But so while we're doing this, we have special 1,000 subscribers for YouTube.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, yes.
Pop.
So
there we go.
We thought it'd be great to. All right, so Rory's a little delayed from our thing, but hey, midnight on in the aisles. So I'll just say it like that. We'll give them some leeway with that. But we're doing a special 1,000 member or 1,000 subscriber live stream. Just talk about the past year. Really, thank everyone, the patron saints, the subscribers, everyone who has made this possible, and talk about some of the highs and lows of the industry. So we've got David with us, Miles. Yeah, it's great. Always a pleasure to have you on, brother. Rory Martin, out of our UK correspondent. Always great to have you joining in. And then James, our West Coast, the land of the liberals. Our guy undercover out there. Yeah, I love it.
I'm in Babylon.
And then everyone should know my name, or maybe not, or my voice. Eric.
Say my name. Yeah,
exactly. So this is going to be a very casual conversation. We're not going to take it too long, but we just want to talk about some stuff. So first, the positives, and I'll kind of steer the ship and kind of go around the horn. But first, positives is, David, what films are you excited about this year? And you can pick ones that just came out if you want to.
That's good, because I don't know what's happening this year. I'm going to pull up the schedule at some point here, because for those who don't know, we schedule stuff pretty far out. And by we, I mean James schedules stuff pretty far out. So, we actually have the whole year more or less mapped out. I will say, though, movies that I've enjoyed so far, very much enjoyed Project Hail Mary. I kind of ended up accidentally at a very early showing of that. I didn't realize it was like the day of the midnight premiere, so it was like 5 o'clock the day before it officially released, that my son and I went and saw it, and it was awesome. Very impressed with it. I then saw Hoppers with him, which was pretty disappointing. The Goat was actually surprisingly good, I will say that. I was kind of low expectations on that one. And then pretty soon, we're doing the animated thing, so what's it called? Super Mario Brothers Galaxy. There it is.
Okay.
We'll see, right? Can probably end up seeing that this weekend. So, how about you guys? I don't know who's next.
And Miles, how about you? What are you excited about?
Well, Avengers, obviously, Spider-Man. But my 5-year-old son today said, okay, we're going to see Mario Galaxy. What other movies are you and I going to see today or see this year? And it's like, I gotta pick some. But I'm still a sucker for the superhero movies, even as James has kind of highlighted that we're probably on the wane in terms of that genre dominating the box office, which might be for
and not the Bruce Wayne.
No. Yeah, well, the Batman Part 2, I'm excited for, as it continually drifts farther and farther away into the future.
Excellent. Rory, how about yourself, sir?
To wait for the delay.
We
It's
have
like
to wait for the
this
delay.
is Rory
So-
from the speaking
wanna
to us from
jump
the
on that?
Artemis 2.
I've just sent the probe back, man. Hopefully you'll get this message. And surviving over here from Project Hail Mary. And yeah, which is one of the ones that I've really been excited about this year. It's a bit slow. I don't know if you can hear me. Can only hear me, guys. I'm trying to solve an internet connection problem.
That's all right. Go ahead and work on that, and we'll come back. We'll circle back around to you. So, James, how about you? What some projects you're excited about this year?
Oh, well, obviously The Mandalorian and Grogu and Supergirl. I mean, those are, I can't even say that with a straight face. I'll echo what Miles was saying. Sure. I think that Disney, for all of its waning with the different stuff, I think one thing that they can do is nostalgia. Deadpool and Wolverine was great. Spider-Man No Way Home was great. So I think just being able to see the last 25 years of heroes all together in Doomsday, I think they're going to pull that off. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that that's one thing they do know how to. I think it'll be I'm looking at these couple films this year as closure. I still don't have a lot of hope for the future, but I mean, I'm looking forward to them as sort of that bookend on the other side of everything. So, but honestly, the Odyssey. Come on, guys.
Okay, yeah,
we got to see what Christopher Nolan is up to with a little bit of this. Maybe you guys weren't thinking it'd be great. I think like a Trojan horse, it's going to sneak up and be one of the bigger successes of the year.
I'm excited to see how he works time travel into it. But yeah, I mean, Odyssey should be great.
Hey, I'm glad you mentioned it, James. Yeah, the Odyssey is one that all of Nolan's movies aren't the best. Let's just put it that way. But he has an incredible, unique style that
them's might be fighting words
that I trust. Come on, Tenet, man. I like
Tenet
the
is
movie,
great.
but
I
it
don't
was
care.
Yeah,
yeah, but he has a style that I adore and I trust. So I'm willing to go in for all the historical inaccuracies. I mean, I don't care. It's part of it. I just don't care. I love Troy, and they didn't have any gods in that, so by default, it is not a true story of the Iliad. So I'll just put it with that. The other one that I'm excited for is Godzilla -0, and so far nothing about it has really come out. I think I think one still shot or something like that.
Are we getting it this year? I didn't even know that.
That's what the plan is.
in the schedule.
I think it's another November, December type of
all right,
type of release.
nice.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then next question is, all right, so those are the films we're kind of looking forward to. Kind of looking back, what are films last year? And again, we could go really far back, but we'll just try to stick with a year. What are films last year that we didn't cover that we wish we had? And so, Miles, I'll start with you this time.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It's hard to remember what movies
I don't know if
came
it's
out
films.
last year.
Can we mention movies that we did cover that we wish we hadn't?
I'm not sure if it was 24 or 23, but honestly, the show Andor was really good. It took me a while to get through it. It was my treadmill show, so it took me a lot of steps to get through. But that just, no lightsabers, felt so Star Wars, and it was a really quality Disney Plus show that just, it felt like, I don't even have a ton of Popcorn Theology comments about it, but it just deserved love. I think it was one of their best shows I think they've produced, and we didn't cover that one.
No, true. No, I think the cup runneth over on that one. There's a lot of character dynamics between the couple and the one guy who kind of goes awry and bad, but yet you kind of feel sorry for him. Like there's a lot of different the different falls and descents that weren't quite so grandiose. Like they weren't Anakin style descents into evil, but they were much more naturalistic descents.
And the cost of laying
That could have been. That's some great. We should go back and do it.
Yeah. So, listen, James, you're talking. How about you go next? What things came out last year that we didn't cover that you wish we had?
We should have covered F1.
Mm.
I mean, hands down, that was probably one of my favorite films of the year. And I actually looked back. It's like, didn't we cover it, or did I just talk with my wife so extensively?
You did a mini-sode. You did like a minute clip. You did like a little mini-sode on it. Yeah.
We should have. I think we should. If we ever get a chance, we should do an episode on it, because I also think that it is perhaps a return to some different movie making. But I'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can do it when they release F2.
There you go.
F1
Okay,
faster. Yeah.
F2, F3, then they'll go different. Just as long as they don't name one FU, we're probably
Yeah.
I was like, this is a bad joke, but I'm going to go for it.
No, it was great, Dave. So, David, since you always like to bring the podcast back to reality, I love it. How about you? What are something we didn't cover last year that you're like, man, I wish I had the time for us to be able to do this episode?
I gotta be honest, I don't really do much movie-wise that doesn't make it onto the podcast. There's very little, and so I will go the opposite of what your question was asking, which is movies that we covered that I wish we hadn't. So yeah, Jurassic Park, or excuse me, whatever the heck it was called, Jurassic World Rebirth. Actually, we did have a lot of fun talking about that. Movie was garbage, but it was a lot of fun for me and Marcus to go into kind of ranking all the Jurassic Park movies. And so, despite the movie, that was a fun episode. So as far as
dinosaur
PhDs
talking about, that's what I'm just going to call you, dinosaur PhDs. I know you have actual titles, but.
Yeah, that's always fun for us to chat about that. So yeah, nothing really that comes to mind that we didn't cover, mostly because I don't know what the heck came out last year that wasn't on the podcast. So not a good one to ask. But it looks like Rory's back in terms of his connection here. So I don't know if we want to jump in
Rory,
back to the first question.
Are you back?
Dark side.
What does the dark side of the moon look like?
It's dark side. Ah, dear. The films I wish, two films you wish you would have covered, right? Easily, are Hamnet and Train Dreams.
Yep.
So Train Dreams being Taron Egerton, a bit of a slow, brooding, unwinding character study of a man who just doesn't basically show much emotion and chops wood all the time, But it's a slow. It was so good. It made me cry watching it on Netflix. I wish I saw it in the cinema. Hamnet. There's a reason why Jessie Buckley got nominated for the Oscar for this film, and an interesting take on Shakespeare, especially around the story of Hamlet and how the making of Hamlet. I would call it Shakespeare in love, kinda, but I would say it's more like Shakespeare in grief, and his wife in grief. Anyway, that gives too much away about it. So two films I think would have really lent themselves, and they're all kind of slow, brooding kind of character studies. I think that, don't get many of those on the podcast, do you?
And I know, Rory, a few years ago, when you were merely a Patreon supporter, you nominated Blinded by the Light, like basically every month for about a year, and it just never quite cut it. I know it's not a last year movie, but I can't believe we haven't done that one yet. Now that you're
Are we still keeping him on the line with that?
Why haven't you?
Next month, next month, Rory. We'll get to it.
It's more American than British. Come on, it's Bruce Springsteen meets music, man. Come on. It's a British American crossover. 4th of July is like this year, your 250th anniversary.
Maybe that's why we're like not as interested in it.
Anyway, I'm trying to pitch it any other way.
Yeah.
Was that this? That's a case to be made.
Anyway, never. You never like my ideas.
That's great. One for me, and I don't remember if it came out last year, but Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. And more of the reason why I want to do it is just so James and I can record on it for an hour and just talk about monster stuff. So that's probably I don't even remember if it came out last year. Or maybe the year before, but also, so season 2 came out this year, which I have not seen yet. But another series that I would love to eventually cover is actually Invincible. Is, kind of go through the Invincible series.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
fascinating. I think season 4 is currently being released. So that's kind of the things that I'm looking forward to, and that transitions. Talking about series, that transitions very cleanly into what were the biggest disappointments from last year, and the biggest disappointment for me was definitely Daredevil Born Again. That was I described it about another show, which I'll talk about in just a minute. The biggest crime that it committed was just making it boring. As like, make me love it, make me hate it, just don't bore me. Don't make me go, ugh. The best part about that show was, so it would release, I think, on like a Tuesday. And I think like Wednesday or Thursday, Miles and James and I, one of us were jumping on the podcast to record a quick episode. And then that was the best part, where we were able to talk about it and the catharsis that we would get from that. And the other show, which I don't know if it came out last year, but Maddie and I covered, and I'll say the same thing about the show was already going to be a disappointment. So to say the biggest disappointment is not real, but Rings of Power Season 2. The best thing about that was Maddie and I getting to record every single week just to talk through it and share our grief. And that was when I had to keep pulling Maddie back from going like, no, I was like, I want to criticize it against Tolkien too, but this is not Tolkien. So we just have to criticize it as the boring, stupid show that it actually ended up being. So those were my
2024.
Those were my biggest disappointments for last year. So Roy, how about yourself?
Daredevil, to be fair too, this season of Daredevil so far is marginally better.
Margins. Oh,
marginally better. But
so by season 12, we'll actually have a good show.
Yeah, but the writing's so weak right now. The writing's so weak. We're calling it. My wife and I have dubbed it CW Devil. So yeah.
And CW used to write 20 episode seasons.
I was going to say early era CW, or
like first 3 seasons of Smallville. I'd be down for that.
No, like last 3 seasons of Arrow.
Okay, yeah.
But like maybe Legends of Tomorrow season 8.
But with a lot of those shows, you're right, Eric. That popcorn theologizing then really rescued the experience for me. There's something that's really quite nice about having a little bit of misery together and trying to sift out theological talking points. That I have this strange bittersweet taste about Daredevil Born Again, because it was one of the few shows that we walked through episode by episode. Although the few times we've done that, where we've done episode by episode, usually the shows end up disappointing us. And so we've been a little gun shy about doing that.
That is almost a guarantee of a disappointing show. Like, I don't get me wrong, I loved Last of Us, and I loved Last of Us season 2, but there was something about doing the week by week, the scrutiny, the comparison. Eric, was that was us, right?
No, that was you and Jam.
Jam, sorry, Jam. I remember things. Anyway, I do remember me and Jam being like, this just doesn't seem like it warrants a week by week. It was a pretty good season, but compared to season 1, and so doing a week by week review of something, I think almost guarantees that it's going to be disappointing. We should maybe not do those anymore. But I will.
Hey, if we had done a week by week of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, that would have been fantastic. Which
coulda, woulda, shoulda, I guess.
Some of us need to get together and either watch that together or cover it. Yeah,
that could be as close as we get to the age-old debate of should we review or even watch Game of Thrones. But
this is not your Redditor's Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Now, one thing, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a little bit of a detour on that question, because it seems like we're dancing around a pretty good discussion point, which is, are there any movies or shows that are so stale that we did not cover them when we planned to? We had intended to cover it, and then we were just like, you know what? No, that's not going to happen. I think I can think of a couple And then James, I remember you pulling the plug on a few that we had in the schedule. Maybe that would be kind of fun to dish on. I'll throw one in the ring just while y'all think about it. This wasn't because it was bad, but Richard and I had scheduled a time, probably with James, to record on Tenet when it came out years and years ago. And we had to just pull the plug on it because we were like, we could not understand what people were saying. We are so confused. We can't review because it was in the theaters. We couldn't rewatch it easily and watch it with subtitles easily. So we were just like, we're going to wait till it comes out on digital. And so we did review it eventually. But that's one that comes to mind that we just had to pull the plug on. We never actually did review that.
There's a fun
any come to mind for you guys?
There's a fun little Bible factoid with Tenet is because that story is designed chiastically like a tower. It actually gives you an opportunity to talk about how in the Bible there's actually a ton of you could call them idea sandwiches or pyramids or a lot of psalms and things like that. It gave an opportunity to say, if you've seen that movie, you actually don't realize this, but that's all over your Bible where the beginning and end mirror each other until there's a central point that is valuable. But beside that, I was with you on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember we pulled together the episode because I'm a fan, but maybe that's I maybe
we did it eventually and it was fine, but yeah, we couldn't.
But you do have to see it twice to get all to actually understand even what's being spoken.
Well, this
it does get a little
podcast
tricky.
is us nixing Ready or Not 2.
Yes, this episode is yes.
which I was going to say. So last year, we just ditched Ready or Not 2 because it was a sequel that didn't and probably shouldn't have been made. Last year we nixed Black Phone 2, much for the same reason. That was a very disappointing sequel from another, like a good film that actually could have. It didn't need a sequel, and that's one thing where a movie like Project Hail Mary comes out this year. How about just movies that are good movies? I would like to think maybe a trend we would see in the next decade is more films like Project Hail Mary, which is adapting a book, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I am not saying that they have to be brand new screenwriter ideas, but instead of just mining IP, maybe the slow decline of the superhero genre will help spur that in other areas as well.
Yeah, we need new IP, right? So, Rory, how about biggest film disappointment from last year?
Last
or movie
year, it'd
or
be like
show
Wicked for Good
disappointment from last year?
It really was. It did not need a second film. It was like a whole third act in one film with padded out with songs, and I just thought, grief. I'm a fan of the actual stage musical. I actually went to see it in West End in London, so I just really thought, why is this longer than the actual musical and rubbish?
Peter Jackson directed or what? Yeah. Every time I see an ad for it, because it's on Peacock and we watch Peacock a lot, every time I see the little ad thing, I get less interested in watching it. Every time I see it.
I know. It's just kind of crazy.
That's not how that works.
They've done to pad it out. I mean, that's a trend you don't want to see is more sequels or split box office films. Like part 2, I'm like, dude, we need that? I think we kind of got the resolution, didn't we? And like we got Dune part 3, which, I mean, technically it's not really part 3. It's another part. It's another book entirely, actually, in one story.
Book 2.
Because I've read the book. I also did read the book before the first 2 Dunes came out. I thought, okay, that's fine.
Have you seen Dune Messiah, or have you read Dune Messiah? Because I read Dune. Wow, like in between Dune 1 and 2, I think when they came out,
Dune
maybe.
Messiah based. I think.
But,
visual representation of that series. So Dune, I think, deserved 2 parts, as frustrating as it was to see it in 2 parts. Dune Messiah, I actually liked the book, but it's not going to warrant. Who knows? Who here has read Children of Dune? Anyone?
No.
It gets
you mean Dune Part
weird. Dune part, it'll be Dune 4 if they make it into a movie. It gets so weird. I don't think they're going to make it into a movie.
Probably. Well, I think they're already advertising it as the end of a saga or something like that.
That's probably for the best. I will say, Miles, you mentioned Dune. What was it called again? The show?
Messiah,
Yeah,
I think, is the
there
middle
is.
one. Oh, there is a show.
Children of
No, sorry.
Yeah.
The show.
Dune.
What was the show called?
Is it?
I think that says enough right there that we forgot Dune Legacy or something.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
that there was a show. Yeah.
Well, there's.
I was
Is it on-
disappointed in it. I'll throw
Yeah.
that out there. It was beautiful. It just wasn't a very compelling story, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't really care for it. And I love the Duneverse. if
Okay,
you
well,
will.
I'll tell you
Uh,
another disappointing movie that I would have planned to cover but wasn't great is Gladiator 2. When they spit on the grave and the character of Maximus in order to generate a child. I don't even care if I spoil it. I don't, because taking the character of Maximus and saying, oh, by the way, he was having an affair with this other woman the whole time, when the core of all of Gladiator is holding on to, I'm not going to die so that I can see my wife who I love until I set Rome straight, and then it's okay if I die so that I can see my wife. And then you insert, he had a child with another woman. It's like, the movie itself was okay, but like 'cause Maximus is one of those few characters that is genuinely admirable. He's religious and not Christian, but he was religious in the movie. He had character. He was worth following, and he wouldn't succumb. And they spit on his virtue.
Yep.
And I think
I
don't even remember a discussion
Yeah.
of not covering it, but yes, that.
Yeah.
I
So
do remember that was on the schedule, and we took it off. And throwing out there, as long as we're on the Gladiator line, I remember that the first Gladiator movie is the first episode that Jam joined us for.
Yeah.
And
Ah.
while he's not with us right now, Jam has become a mainstay, if you will, of Popcorn Theology. And so that was fun to have him on. That was years ago. I don't even know what year that would have been.
So I was
anyway,
going to say,
yeah.
speaking of character assassinations, one other disappointment for me was
I thought we were still on Jam.
Yeah, no. Was
Yeah.
Zootopia 2. And just to talk
so
about
wrong.
the power of Popcorn Theology is, after listening to Miles and James's episode, their popcorn takes were terrible, completely, totally wrong. But their theology side was spectacular. It is an incredible episode. It is just a terrible, terrible movie. No, I shouldn't say it's a terrible movie. It was a 6 out of 10. It's just too many animal puns. Too many animal puns. I was like, not the whole great thing about about Zootopia 1 was,
You just
what
disqualified
if
yourself.
animals
Too many
evolved
puns. No
instead
such
of
thing.
humans?
Not for James.
And then they had all these things, and then Zootopia 2 is everything was fur this and be fur. What happened? Be fur. No, they wouldn't talk like that. They would just talk. Well, anyway. But so moving on to talking about trends, though, because I was going to use that as segued into different trends, because one trend we do see a lot is the character assassination of legacy characters that we love. And I was being facetious with that. I think they did Nick Wilde injustice in Zootopia 2, personal opinion. But what are some trends that we are seeing positively and negatively within culture, within the film culture, that we're are not excited about? So, Rory, I'll let you
I know.
have
Just
the first at bat with this.
let's say Pixar and Toy Story. Why has it gone on to 5 films? It should have stopped after 3. You know, why can't they put a franchise into a retirement home like they did with like Pixar? Because they almost made Woody completely different in Toy Story 4, and they're carrying it on. I don't understand why you have to change a character and his arc, especially Woody, and how they ultimately just changed how he was and his nature and everything, and the choices that to make in Toy Story 4. And I think here's a Scottish word. They absolutely kiboshed the whole franchise on that one film. It doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, it's just what they do when they really do stretch a franchise out, that they have to make the character make really odd decisions. I may be sounding a bit like, okay, I'm a fan of The Last Jedi, Star Wars wise, but it feels like Toy Story 4 was the last Jedi for me in terms of Pixar terms. Beyond the pale. You know, I can never watch them again. That's what. Yeah,
They
looked.
looped
Yeah,
your
exactly. He was
they
having
looped your
he was
Woody.
having the
Yeah,
milk
that's
and
the-
everything, you
yeah.
know. Oh,
There you go.
which I wasn't bothered about, by the way. But
Not my
anyway.
Woody. Yeah, I will say. I was going to say the trailers for the fifth one that are coming out. They're literally
Yeah.
making jokes about Woody
Yes.
aging.
Yes.
Hmm.
He is a toy. One. And they've established he's a toy
What?
from like the 50s.
I was
or
about to
60s.
say, yeah, he's already antique. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, he's got a bald spot. I'm like, he's plastic.
Oh, weird.
He's already been
Anyway,
refurbished
sorry.
and
Yeah.
everything.
Wow.
It's bizarre.
So, David, how about yourself? What are some trends? Excited, not excited that you're seeing?
I will say, I'll do one of each, but yeah, Rory, absolutely right with the Pixar thing. I think that is a devastating trend. Is that Pixar used to be almost a seal of quality, just having it on there. Oh my gosh, it's Pixar. Having just seen Hoppers because my son wanted to see a movie, and it was the one that was not a Bollywood film or a horror movie that we hadn't already seen. That was literally our options. We saw it, and I actually wanted to like it. By the time I got through the opening like 20 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm kind of on board. This isn't the worst idea, but man, execution was really bad. And it was just like, Pixar, what are you doing? Like, are you even trying anymore? You know? And so that's pretty frustrating. But one thing I will say over the last couple years, there has been a trend of, I think, very surprisingly good standalone films. Even though Twisters is one of the ones I'm thinking of, and technically that is semi-borrowed from the Twister franchise, it's really unrelated. Like, there's no real through line between those. But Twister was an amazing standalone movie, tons of fun, good date movie. Took my wife on a date to it, and so that's why I can say that. And then, what was the other one? Fall Guy. We did episodes on these. Fall Guy was
love Fall Guy.
fantastic. Project Hail Mary. Like, these are all like just kind of standalone, big budget. You know, we're going to throw a lot into this, not just in terms of money, but in terms of quality acting, writing. They actually paid some writers to write something. That's pretty cool. I like when they do that. But anyway,
Had
that's
people
kind of
who
an
were
exciting trend.
in the case of the Fall Guy, had people who were passionate about the subject matter, who were behind the camera and in front of the camera in a lot of cases. Yeah.
Mhm. That was really cool. That showed as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of my favorite movies. I don't buy a lot anymore. I'm starting to get back into buying more, but that was one I went and bought. I was like, no, wherever this guy, I don't want to be reliant on streaming services to watch this one when I want to watch this one.
Yeah. And it seems like in general, the trend in superhero movies, I'll just throw this out there. Do you guys think that the trend in superhero films has been an upward tick, a downward tick, or just kind of, I don't know. Where are you guys at?
Except for Spider-Man, it's been downward. And I'm one of the, apparently I did not know this at the time. I'm a kind of a holdout. I really like Multiverse of Madness. Apparently a lot of people don't in the world, but I absolutely adore that movie.
I dug it.
But with those, Miles is like, nah. I liked it, but
I thought it was good.
Everything else has been downward. Like nothing's clicking, nothing's working together. It seems like they built up to Endgame. They had this idea for Endgame, and then lost their footing or lost their way. I think there's some cultural pressure, stuff like that, to fast track the Lady Avengers type of thing, and no one cared for the characters. Or at least cared for him the way that we were supposed to care for him.
Nobody cared about Eternals. Nobody cared about the Marvels. Nobody cared about it.
Eternals is still one of the ones that we have never covered.
And it's
I
super
waited for that
interesting.
one.
Like, it's
You guys want to.
theological. They're in Babylon at the same time that Daniel is. You know, there's some interesting stuff in there. We get into Nephilim and the Abkalu story, all that kind of stuff. That would be really fun.
Cool. So these are one of those things where the ideas that they bring together they're cool ideas and cool things to talk about, but they didn't create a cohesive movie, film, or story around those. So it ends up being one of those, we have these really cool conversations around the movie, but did the movie itself actually execute any of the ideas that we just talked about?
But I'll tell you,
Well-
last year with superhero movies, between Fantastic Four and Superman, those were genuinely solid, in my opinion. I enjoyed them. They were fun. They were interesting, even though they stripped out a lot of the theological foundation that I like about Superman. He was the Boy Scout that I haven't seen really on screen since maybe Christopher Reeves. In terms that was pretty good. But in terms of trends, I don't know where the superhero movies are going.
What are you talking about, Miles? They made him a fornicator.
Yeah, well, they didn't. What's funny is that point was really not about him and about the movie. It was about how
I know.
culture doesn't care. That they think you
Yeah.
golly, and then sleeping with your girlfriend. That was my point. We had
But that may have got us some of our subscribers. Thank you, 1,000
100,000
subscribers.
views. I don't care.
Yeah.
We would have
I
been
don't
there.
care.
And
You can say whatever you want for 100,000 views.
we would hop.
It's funny because I saw
into
that
Avatar.
well before I saw the
Debate
movie.
People, I could see everybody hopping in. But I think in terms
Yeah.
of trends, I want them to do a few more origin stories of superheroes in which they find a compelling reason to be heroic, and actually go through the process of getting better. Or I think you could just a Batman Beyond movie where you basically map it onto the Mask of Zorro back from 1997 would be great, even if it's not major in the future. But in terms of trends, it seems like we're getting less preachy wokeness in our movies, a little bit less. But
Yes.
I have a feeling that is just going to reflect whatever administration is in for the rest of our lives. I think these corporations get really influenced by that. That's kind of nice. I don't know if the trend is going. Yeah, what do you think, James?
I have a little more hope than that. I think that I think the administration helped to some degree both directions, but I think Hollywood over the last decade, because even during the first Trump administration, that's when actually it started. And that's when woke started. That's when it hit the movies. That's when it destroyed the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
And now I think the bottom line is the dollar. Hollywood knows that they're dying.
Yep.
They had to. You mentioned Pixar. The trend I'm loving to see is they stripped out the sexuality and identity issues from Elio, from Inside Out 2, and a few others. And other movie franchises have as well. They've actually been planning, or they're actually partially into production and have stripped those out. So I think we're seeing the turnaround of that. I think we're still going to see movies like that over the next couple of years because they were already moving or already in production. But I think we're going to see the turnaround because now movies like F1, nothing of no identity politics, none of the message. Movies like Project Hail Mary, you could have tried some climate stuff in there. Like I think they've realized that they need to steer towards solid films, and like Superman didn't. I think like there's
And they could have in a lot much more in some places.
Right. And so I think that they're moving in that direction. So from a theological perspective, I love that maybe that's gonna be a shift we'll see over the next several years. From a popcorn perspective, I really like that the new Spider-Man movie is and Project Hail Mary, heavy practical effects.
Yes.
Like I think we've learned the lesson about overindulgence in CGI, which kind of came in between Infinity War and Endgame and kind of dominated the last 5 or 6 years. It's just we've seen CG sludge.
Yeah, Quantumania
It
ruin
went
things.
from and pardon. I was gonna say it went from, and pardon the pun, it went from gear porn in Iron Man 1 to Endgame, a full nano CGI suit coming all over him. And it's like we missed something there. We completely missed something there when the actors weren't even in anything of weight anymore.
Yeah. Or even The Mandalorian and some of the stuff, which I think it's phenomenal technology, but where you're just on a stage with everything projected around you, and it's all the background, your scenery is you're not on site anywhere, all your stuff's digital. I think we're seeing that just people need to touch tangible objects when they're acting and be interacting with physical things and real scenery. And so I'm excited about seeing that. Fall Guy did that too, practical effects.
Yep.
Some of the ones we've already named have been some of the ones, people are liking these because they've gone back to that. So
Speaking of which, though, James, you're super into Avatar, so I'm just throw out there that
only the first Avatar. After Way of Water, it's been very diluted.
Well, and to be fair, they did an awful lot of boom water. Now they did an awful lot with like, I mean, you could tell that they're interacting with items, even though it's all mocap.
Yeah.
And so
James Cameron can do
to
it,
their
but
credit.
It's like
Yeah.
when people try to imitate Michael Bay's style, like Bayhem can only be done by Michael Bay. Imitators need not apply. James Cameron can do. I mean, Battle Angel Alita, fantastic looking film. That was like Robert Rodriguez and Cameron.
Although that movie
collaborating.
was like
if
it was
if
like the
he's
middle act.
If he's involved, I think
It, like,
sure,
threw
he
you
can do
in,
no wrong. But everybody trying
then,
to imitate
I got
that
disconnected.
just seems to come up
Oh.
short. Quantumania being a huge example. We even forgot that when we were naming bad Marvel.
Yeah, I
So
forgot about
there
that
was
one.
there were just so many, but no, I think I agree with pretty much all of you guys along the trends and stuff like that. The just the old brands are no longer reliable. And even when they do try to do instead of like, so I didn't see Elio, I didn't see some of these other ones. Instead of just scrapping them, they're still releasing them, and I think that's part of one of the issues of they haven't quite figured out. Well, I'll say it this way: it's not supposed to be a formula, but they're trying to figure out the formula, right? And movie making was never supposed to be a formula. You look at the best movies that have ever been made. I mean, when Steven Spielberg first came on the scene, like he wasn't making the Hollywood formula movies. He created would become the Hollywood formula. And so that's where I think hopefully we're in that kind of in between space where the old formula is dying, and whatever the new formula is going to be, hopefully it will be again more of that practical effects where there's a weightiness to the films themselves. You can see that and feel that just by watching it. That's why I think a lot of people resonated. It didn't blow up the box office, but a lot of people love it. I think that's already talked about it. Fall Guy, right? Why a lot of people liked it is because it has so much practical effects. I mean, they broke a real world record of car flips. When you watch that car flip scene on the beach, that was a real world record that they broke and set that day. Like that's cool.
Well, F1, they had cameras. They took a couple of years and were working on real tracks with real racers. Yeah,
exactly. So I hope, to me, that's one of the trends I hope they're going to. The trend I don't like is because they're still trying to figure out the whole direction to go, is there's just going to be a lot of slop. And I'm not talking about AI slop or stuff like that. I think it's just going to be a bunch of bottom of the basement B tier writers that are doing it. I think all the best writers are going to be head into small studios so that their ideas can actually thrive. And so but to end on kind of a positive and high note, let's give some love to our fellow hosts here. And what were your favorite episodes that you were not on from the past year? So Miles, I'll let you get started, brother.
Well, one that's great, like some hosts that deserve some love, Kat, Maddie, and Bridget, all hosted it ended up being kind of a takedown of rom-coms in its own way. But that was a great episode. It's also, I remember years ago, like about a year after I joined, I was like, we should have some ladies on this. This isn't a male activity, doing some film and theology. And it was really fun to have them on an episode and see their perspective. Because every once in a while we're covering something and I feel like, I'm really missing a bit of perspective here. And so I wish they could be here, and I'm glad that they were able to take on that whole topic.
Kat carried the weight of that for years, and
yeah,
we appreciate Kat, and we're thrilled that the lady side of this is growing. And I will say that that's showing up in the stats as well. If you look at the audience information on YouTube, which I don't think we have for the audio side of things, I don't think that they track that, or at least I haven't seen it. But it was at one point it was 97% male, our viewership on YouTube, and now it's like 70% male and 30% female.
Wow.
So I mean, I'd have to check and see specifically, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood. And so I'm like, somewhere between having more female faces in the videos, more female voices, and then just in general, maybe getting a little outside of our wheelhouse of things that we really like as a club, as a group of guys, has really, I think, helped expand the audience. And we love that. That's really cool.
Which makes me think, ironically, women are the reason why we're going to do Devil Month. I think in a month here, it's because we'll have Devil Wears Prada 2, Daredevil Born Again summary. I think we'll go all the way back to Devil's Advocate, and then
I've wanted to watch that movie for years, so we're going to just cover that one.
It's intense, man.
To do it.
The Water Boy as well, because everything is that devil. Yeah.
Hey, they could pick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, biggest disappointments. I got to go back retroactively and say Happy Gilmore 2. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah.
Ooh, that hurt. I wanted to like it. I tried so hard to like it because the first one is amazing. I think we were going to cover that. Oh no, we weren't. But I tried really hard to make an episode happen. It was such garbage. But
so
anyway,
I guess that would also be one of the trends, though, too, that I'm not looking forward to, is what you just said there, James. Unnecessary sequels is turning everything into content in a franchise that doesn't need to be.
Cash grab.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, because I remember 10 years ago? No, it wasn't 10 years ago, Zoolander 2. And I remember going to watch Zoolander 2 instead of Deadpool. And I remember being PO'd. Like my wife and I were like, "This is a terrible, terrible movie. It was so bad,
this
so
is
bad."
The worst
unnecessary sequels.
Unnecessary sequels, and what I hope a trend we're going away from is turning the villains into the victim or the hero.
Oh yeah,
and that's just like movies like F1 or Top Gun Maverick, or like some of these movies just let the hero be the hero.
Yeah.
And like I'm hoping we just get a little bit of that. I don't get tired of it. But let's see what topic we were on. Episodes that you appreciate that you weren't on.
That you weren't on, yeah. So Rory, how about you? What one or two episodes that you were not on that you really appreciated?
I really appreciated the Little Women one.
Okay. For Bridges content, I'm sure.
Of course, this is something there's something in the background. For the background with me and someone else I'm affectionate with. Absolutely going for Team Bridget against Team Eric. It's a bit personal. I enjoyed Little Women as a film. And I think another one, more so, less personal skin in that one, is, Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Again, it's one of the ones you can't hate that film. You can't hate that film, can you?
Yeah, it was a great film. I loved it. Look at Miles. This is just all right. Whatever, Miles. Go back and listen to the episode.
Come on, the episode's quite good.
You can't hate it, but you can ignore it. I will say that.
Well, okay. But the episode was quite good, and Maddie is on there as well. I enjoyed it. It's a film that was personal to me, I guess, at the time when I watched it.
Sure.
I loved to listen to the episode of it on it. Those are two episodes that I can name that I wish I was on it, because I wish I could have been able to discuss them. Maybe correct one or two people. One of them, personally, jokingly. Bridget did a great job on that one, and it's always good to have someone who's got expertise beyond just the film and to the book as well.
Yep.
So that helps
for sure.
Yeah,
anytime we can get readers on, we like to try and do that.
Yes.
If it's something that's based on literature at all.
I've still got unanswered questions about Project Hail Mary that we asked in the podcast that we need somebody to solve for us.
Yeah, book readers, jump in there. Watch the episode. Tell us what it is. I was going to say K-pop Demon Hunters but we've already sort of given a shout out to the all ladies episodes. And we had Ginny and Maddie and Kat on that. So I'll go for one that was co-ed. And that was the Tombstone episode. And so, which is also just good to mix it up. We had Eric and Maddie, you guys on that one. I think partially maybe I am just throwing that one out there because I'm jealous I wasn't able to be on it. That's one of those, maybe that also falls in the category of episodes I wished I could have been on, but But yeah, those would be a couple of my favorites from last year. That,
Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't release it. I think it initially was released in 2024. I don't remember. I think we did release it in 25 though. Is the first ever In the Lobby that David and Richard did with David Bonson. And the reason why I wish I was on that one is because I'm a huge economics nerd, and I would love to talk about that stuff with him. Now, I know it was around his book, which at the time, I think I was the only person on the podcast who had read that book. So it would have been kind of cool to have been on that episode. But another one now, and again, a year ago, I would not have been a good host for it, but now I would be a great host for it, was the How to Train Your Dragon episode. Because I have now seen that movie probably 55 times. With my son watching that movie.
But which one?
Well, the original. The original. We tried to watch the live action. He just didn't get into it. James, you'll appreciate this. He has named the dragon at the end of the movie. You know what he named him? Godzilla. And he's like he calls that movie Godzilla. He calls it alternatively Dragon or Godzilla, depending on whatever mood he's in. So I would have loved to be on that, to have been on that episode covering the How to Train Your Dragon. But those are just a couple for me. But David, how about yourself, sir? Did you already go yet? Which one you would have wanted to be on?
No, I have not. I haven't been on that many episodes lately, so this is, if anything, I'm having trouble narrowing it down. I'll throw one out there, and this is from a few years ago, so hopefully that's okay. But the Godzilla -1 episode, I was blown away by that movie. You guys had a great guest on that. It was Greg something, I believe, right, James? Yeah. So a little shout out to Greg. That was really good. As far as, I just kind of finally caught up on some movies from last year, including Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, First Steps, and Superman. Really enjoyed at least a couple of those. Thunderbolts was fine, but I really thought Fantastic Four was quite good, and so I enjoyed y'all's episode on that. It is kind of funny because it's like, in a sense, this is my baby, mine and Richard's baby. Don't put too much thought into that. But neither of us have really been able to stay involved. And so I'm just thrilled that you guys are carrying the baton and carrying the torch on so much further than we've been able to lately. And so
says the man who's done every Harry Potter movie coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will shout out as far as one's favorites that I have been on. Back in 2024, I looked back just to see when it was. We did a series throughout the year on the Breaking Bad show.
Oh,
and that is, going down as a list on the list of one of my favorite, things that we've done and one of my greatest accomplishments in life, getting James and Kat to watch Breaking Bad and listen to me nerd out over it. So yeah, that was amazing. And then this year we're doing something sort of similar with the Harry Potter films, although the difference there, just going to shout this out real quick, is that all of them have been recorded.
Yes.
And so Marcus Ross and we recorded all of the episodes, one for each of the Harry Potter movies, except we put 7 and 8 together. So basically one per book. And they are available for Patreon supporters. You can listen to them all right now, but we're going to release them gradually throughout the year because this is the 25th anniversary of the first Harry Potter movie being released. And then later on in the year, we're going to do the same kind of thing for kind of revisiting the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Nice.
And so that's going to be excited to do that.
Nice.
And of course, that's just going to be 3, but we'll have another little series.
And then they'll do an extended edition.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, we should totally do that. We should just record for as long as we want, and then just release the first hour and a half, and then the rest is for Patreon supporters.
I generally agree. I always try to keep everything under an hour. Especially when I'm recording and stuff like that, I try to keep all the episodes under an hour and constantly looking at the notes to how to trim it off. But when it comes to Lord of the Rings, or honestly when we did Godzilla -1, I was like, 2-hour episode, I don't care.
No, I was gonna say
there's just somewhere it's like the fans will or will not. There's a certain type of person who's going to click on this video and they don't care if it's 2 hours.
That's where the short form stuff really
Yeah.
helps, because trying to like sell people on the podcast is a tough thing when they ask, well, how long are the episodes? And I'm like, well, it depends. Am I on it? So
yeah. But the Harry Potter
I don't
episodes
care
are
for
like
short ones.
35 minutes. So that's great.
They're mini-sodes, which
Yep.
means that, aside from the last one, they're all like 45-minute max. So, the aim was 30. And then the last one, I think we did like an hour and some change, because you got to
Yeah.
with everything that happens there. So anyway, loads of fun. Check those out. But that doesn't answer your question at all. But yeah, I think you guys have done an amazing job. And I just enjoy being a fan of the show. Like, I was looking over the list, I completely forgot that you guys covered Batman Forever. And so
Yes,
I'm
that
like,
was fun.
oh man, I gotta check that one out. I gotta do Batman Forever. Love to hate that movie.
Well, there's zero to hate about that movie. Zero.
I was about to defend it, but zero.
Batman and Robin, a lot to hate about that movie.
More zero. But it's really is fun
I will say,
to
of the
listen
things
to
to
as a fan. You know,
of the
like,
things
every
to
once in a
make
while,
fun of in that
it's like
movie.
my wife's asking me, "Hey, what are you listening to?" Oh, just my really cool friends talking about a movie. Really fun.
It is weird having, hosted the show and then listening to an episode. You're almost like waiting to like interject something, You're like, oh, is it my oh, right. No, this is recorded. I'm not on the show right now. So yeah, pretty cool.
Or sometimes I'm on my edge of my seat, like rooting. Like on the Tombstone episode, I was like, please, somebody just take a shot at Wyatt Earp's adulterous relationship. I know his wife was not fun, but I was like, has anybody else seen what I'm seeing here? He's supposed to be the stalwart guy.
There you go.
Only in the Western mythology was he a stalwart guy.
Okay.
Not in real life at all. But all right. Well, we are starting to hit that bump up onto that hour mark. So we're going to go ahead and end it here. But Miles, Rory, David, James, thank you guys. This was excellent. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for taking time on a Saturday evening, afternoon, technically, Rory, for you, Sunday morning. Really appreciate that. You're breaking the Sabbath now, so you should probably get off. But you're muted there, brother. You're muted there.
What say?
But with that, keep engaging movies and media from a godly worldview, and remember, you are not a mindless consumer.
2000 coming soon.
Thanks for watching this episode of Popcorn Theology. For more content, subscribe on YouTube. Follow and interact on social media to help broaden the conversation. Check out our archive of past episodes at popcorntheology.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. And consider becoming a patron saint by supporting us on Patreon, which lets you interact, influence, and enjoy exclusive bonus content.